So Season 3 Reloaded patch notes are finally here, and we're going to go through all the various changes. There's so many to go through. Obviously, this playlist update, they got stuff going through. Champion of Caldera, this is like a solo-based mode. Will feature 150 players. You spawning with your loadout, and then the zone just slowly collapses. There's no like, oh, 3 minutes, move, 3 minutes, move. No, it's just gonna slowly move to a center point, and we'll kind of see how that plays out. The main thing with this season is they wanted to solve or help improve these specific areas. So they wanted to allow for more counters, because there's a lot of things in the game that does not have counterplay. They wanted to increase the amount of counterplay to that, or balance stuff out, maybe nerf something or buff something so that it brings it together. More movement, more rotation opportunities at the core of the game experience. We see more players love advanced movement techniques, so they've expanded this into new avenues, which we'll go and talk about. And then more playtime. And what that means specifically is while you're playing, there's a lot of times where maybe you die, you go to the gulag, you come back, you die, and then you're spectating your friend. They're trying to reduce the amount of times that is happening, and they've added a ton of things to make it so you can get back into the game, which we'll also talk about. So for counterplay, they added Serpentine, which reduces incoming damage if a player is sprinting. I believe it's 20%. And in reality, this will not impact a lot of stuff, especially if you play Rebirth. It won't almost ever come into it, because when you fire your weapon, you stop sprinting. So in reality, it'll never happen in a gunfight where this is going to help impact it, unless it works slightly different than I think. This will primarily help you when you're maybe rotating, you get caught out in the open, and it'll slow down that TTK. The other part that's interesting with this, we'll see how it impacts long-range sniping on Caldera, because that one-shot kill range is made so that like they do slightly over 300 damage, so you get that one-shot kill, and then it works that way. And we'll see how some other changes impact Rebirth because of that change as well. So we got new lootable perks, which all maps and modes. So this will be on Rebirth Island, and these ones are in addition to the ones they had before. So we're gonna have Serpentine, Tune-Up, Tracker, Hardline, Kill Chain, and EOD. So if you're running EOD on your class, that might be something you want to not do, because you can just loot that perk, or something along the lines. Maybe you're running Tune-Up or Tracker. Maybe you don't pick up those perks, you choose to get other perks, and then these will sustain it with the other perks that are added. So another cool upgrade. And then we got a field upgrade called the Raider Jammer. It's like a counter UAV. It lasts 45 seconds, has 125 meter radius, and it shows up on the TAC map. You won't necessarily be able to see what's going on within that bubble, but let's say you didn't know where somebody was. They dropped this right at the center is where those players are in that moment. So it could be a little bit interesting there. Maybe you split off from your team, then you drop it, and then everyone thinks, oh, there's an enemy there. They push, and then you get for the flank. Maybe there's some strategy involved there, but this is used kind of as a counter to UAVs because it lasts the same approximate time. It also can be hacked by engineer, and it can be attached to vehicles to become mobile. So pretty cool there. New lootable loadout drop markers. This just helps you on regains. They're rare loot, but you can come back, just start looting, just get a random loadout marker and be like, heck yeah, we got a loadout, nice. Just can't get it confused with the smoke or whatever like that. Movement. So high value loot zones. These zones are represented in the attack map with the $sign, and this is something they took from Operation Monarch. If you watch my Operation Monarch review, you know that I said they like to test stuff in these modes, and then they bring them over to the regular ones if they found a positive metric that went along with it. So we'll kind of see how that goes. There's a new underground transit system, and this one I think is one you really have to experience to really figure out how good it is. But the new travel system has 14 access points. They'll have a mini silver vault door symbol that's going to highlight them, and then they have a lighting system to provide intel on the player decision. So when you come up to this door, you're going to have a door here, probably a little bit more to the right, and you'll be able to see kind of what's going on there. Well, if the doors are green, that means you're good. Go through it. There's no enemies wherever you're traveling to, because the map is going to say, okay, you're going to this particular POI capital, whatever, and then you go, okay, that area is going to be clear of all enemies. And then if it's yellow, that means there could potentially be gas going on there, or the zone's going to get hit by the gas. And then you have red, which means there's enemies and/or gas, and then if the light turns off, that means you can't go through it. It's closed. And we'll kind of figure out how accurate those things are as it goes. So pretty interesting. So you can see right here, if we go from mines, there's 2 locations you can go. I guess it's only 2 locations for all. If you go from peak, there's you can go to mines or you can go to fields. And then over here, beachhead only has 1 location, so that'll go from beachhead to peak. And you can only go one way. You can see that they're not like both ways. So a lot of these have 1 to 2 different locations that you can go in. So pretty cool stuff there. And then it says new lootable speed boost. This is kind of what we got from the clash mode. They kind of took that over. It's a limited time thing. It opens up out of a chest. You grab it. You get increased movement for a finite number of time. It's not like you can hold on to it and say, yeah, I'm a speed boost now, like a field upgrade. So pretty cool. Add, I guess, for extra boost of movement if you're looting and want to get to the next spot, or you just get lucky and you need to get away from somebody. You open a chest and there you go. Then there's new Operation Scan public event. This is for Rebirth Island, except for blood money and payload. Any player standing or crouching while the scan takes place will have their location exposed on the attack map for all players to see. Players will be informed to go prone prior to the sweep. And this is kind of like a red light, green light situation. That's kind of said what they're a little bit inspired by, along with maybe a couple other games that have done that in the past. So that's kind of an easy way to think about it. Hey, when it goes red, boom, you have to prone, and everyone has to do that. And if you can like maybe throw a stun, a flash, a gas grenade where somebody's moving because they have to cough or whatever, then they will appear on the mini map. So there are different things. I don't know this is one of the parts where I was like, I don't know if that's even like additive to the game, but you have to try it first to see if it's even worth playing. That's one more. It's like, whatever. Okay, so increase down movement speed on all maps and modes. So that when you get downed, and you're going to be able to crawl a little bit faster over. And this one is specifically, they said like a lot of times, this one kind of goes into counter as well as movement, but sometimes you can get hit with the cluster and then the follow-up cluster hits you and then you're dead. At least this, you can maybe get a little more wiggle room to get out of the way of the second cluster to at least pull off a self-revive while this team pushes you and you're inevitably dead anyways. But at least you have a little bit more mobility. If you get down and then you need to get to cover, this should help with that. Stim adjustment. So this is a slight nerf, but keep in mind that it went from here, like right here, to way buffed. Now it's like slightly nerfed. So it's still way buffed compared to what it was. But I think most people can agree, even if you use stims religiously, that they're a little bit too much. So it kind of got a little bit of tuning to make it a little bit more realistic, even though you're still going to be cracked out with the stim, right? The slide modifier was simply too extreme. While we believe the sliding movement should be buffed when a player is using a stim, which is kind of the mechanic, it should fit within the limits of the game. They also added that weapon damage received interrupts the healing effect. So a lot of times, it wasn't happening often, but there was instances where if somebody timed the stim the right way and they were getting shot, what would happen is the healing would never reach full, so it would never stop. And this would allow it to continually heal. So now that'll get interrupted, but if you're in the gas, you can still make a stim play. It'll bring you to full health and then it'll start to take the ticks again. Playtime. So new lootable gulag entry token. So there's tokens that are laying around the map. So if you die, go to the gulag. Whether you win or lose that gulag, you no longer have a gulag token, right? You spawn in with the gulag token at the start of the match. You lose that token because you went to the gulag. When you come back, you can loot a gulag token. If you manage to make it with that gulag token, whatever kind of token it is, what will happen is at the end of the zones, when the gulag does close, you're going to be rewarded with cash for that token. It's just automatically traded in and you're going to get money. So you're going to have more opportunities to come back or just play the game like the overall playtime thing is there. And then per the normal battle royals, each match will start with the gulag and players can only carry one token at a time. So it's not like you stat, I got 6 gulag tokens, boys. No, it's not going to be like that. So that should allow it to essentially have that infinite gulag if you manage to get those. And that was another thing from testing that LTM to see how that would impact the player base. How long would the lobby stay alive, which is a critical part there. And then we got new lootable redeployable extraction. So these are in Caldera Battle Royale mode. So what will happen is this will be a lot like a Rebirth token. that when you die, you just automatically spawn back in and you're going to be coming out of the sky. So we'll see, and you'll probably have a pistol or whatever. This item allows, upon death, to skip the Gulag and redeploy after a short countdown. This works very much like the Gulag, where that if you still have a token when the Gulag closes, you're awarded cash. They don't want anyone respawning at the end, just coming out of the sky and say, yep, I see them, when in reality you wouldn't be able to get that distance or height. So pretty cool there. That should increase like the lobby staying alive longer, increase self-revives. I'm not really a fan of, because I think you should have to spend money on that, but self-revives, if you find them, they're a little bit more common. And then now they've reduced the player count, which a lot of people are going to whine about, but I would say try it first. They said they're open to raising the player count a little bit if it makes sense, but with the addition of the other changes, someone might stay in a match like and then get 3 additional kills or deaths or whatever. So you go from 120 players, in reality is probably like 180 deaths or 180 kills. 150 players was about the same. So I think they've gone based off that number, based off that math. They said this should also help with the consistency of the overall lobbies, the servers. It should help with the server load, but we'll see how it plays out. Like, really, you don't know until you play it. They said that people should still be able to get their PRs with 120 players and these other rule set changes. But if not, they'll make adjustments. So I think this is going to be, a lot of people are going to whine about, but until we actually play it, you don't know, right? The other part that adds to the thing we were just talking about is decreased buybacks. Buybacks are only 3,000, down from 4,000. So they're not going to cost as much to bring back your teammates. So when you get the cash token converted, you'll already have enough money, most likely, to get that. So now you're able to do that pretty easily. Death tax adjustment, in case most of you guys didn't know, or I'm sure you guys do, is when you die, whatever amount of money you had, it becomes an 80-20 split. You leave 80 and then, you know, and it gets penalized and then you left with 20. Now it's going to be 50-50. So you're going to lose less money when you get killed, so that when you come back, you'll already come back with more money than you had previously. So that should also help with making it easier to buy and stuff like that. Now the quality of life stuff is kind of sick. So there's a new squad widget where you can see, and this kind of mimics what we saw in the past. If you guys ever saw that spread on Reddit where the HUD changes would allow, so you could see what's going on with the teammate. You can see that if you guys just landed in, you don't have anything, obviously they don't have plates or whatever, but as you get a satchel, you can see the icon is slightly different. They have a UAV, a self-revive, a precision, a gas mask, the number of plates, and then also the cash is summed up at the top, so you know exactly how much the team has, and you can see what is buyable, whether it's a redeploy to buy a teammate back. Obviously with 4,000 is enough, and, which would be 3,000 now, right? And then we got a loadout available. If you want to buy one, it automatically adds up the cash. So in case, you know, a little less math inclined, it's there to do it for you, right? And then possession of these things, which is the gas mask, kill streaks, self-revive, key cards, Gulag token, and redeploy extraction token. So maybe you could have both of those. That'd be interesting. So it says improved footstep audio, very vague. They were non-descriptive. They said, hey, we're going to under promise, over deliver, hopefully. So they're going to keep it simple, and hopefully we like the changes, but it's something they're continually to improve on, which is kind of one of those things. I don't know how it gets busted, but it is. Range melee weapon reduced. So gun butting now requires 4 hits to eliminate a target, up from 3. So basically you ain't gonna be meleeing nobody. Pistols require 4 hits on a target with 250 health. So pretty interesting there. So the pistols will take a little bit extra hits. The slide camera lock. So when you slide up to an decline, it ends up locking your camera. That should be fixed. I know this is like the second or third time they've said it, but we'll see once we get in game. Incoming kill streak warning has been moved below the weapon reticle to prevent visual obstruction. Before, sometimes if you had your HUD size smaller, it would be right in the middle of your reticle or your crosshairs. So now it's lower, so that should cause a little bit less issues with that. Menu browsing interruption. So when you're in a squad and they queue up for a match, but you're creating your loadout, and then it kicks you to the queue up, and then you got to go do it again. They remove that feature. So if you're creating a class, it just does what it does while your teammate does the other part. Buyback player prioritization. Automatically, when you go to the buy station, if you just go into it and spam to buy on a controller, the player will automatically be at the top, so it'll automatically do that instead of having a player that's alive and then you have to tab over. Weapon trade stations updated. They added perk satchels, so you should get perks within those. So if you run by one, it says, oh man, I can get EOD. Boom, there it goes. You could trade it in and get that. And then there's legendary and fire sale trades as well. The ghost perk adjustment, reduce player movement speed threshold require to trigger a point. Basically what they said was before you didn't need a move to get ghost. And then they made it so that it was very difficult to actually be ghosted when you were running ghost. So they did just tweaked it a little bit. So it's still way nerfed compared to how we had it for 2 years, but it's going to be slightly more useful than it was in the past month or so, or however long it's been since that. Spawn protection value adjustment. Players will, with a visible shield, will take 25% reduced damage. All right, we got that. And then armored truck got nerfed, decreased health, decreased turret damage, and associated sabotage contracts are no longer available in solos. So that was an issue. Oversight, I would imagine. And others, lethal frag grenade damage increased. So EOD is going to be really good there. Throwing knives damage increased by 20%. Hits to the reason why they're making these changes is because they're modifying the health, which we'll get to. So Claymore buff, proximity mines, Semtex, all that. And that's because now all the game modes except for Iron Trials will have the new 150 health. With 150 plates comes up to 300, so a little bit slower TTK. So now we have universal TTKs for Caldera and Rebirth Island, with the exception of Iron Trials. So I'm excited for that one. It raises the skill gap enough with an extra bullet or two, depending on you don't feel like you get deleted as much. So we'll see how that goes. It might make 1v3s a little bit harder though, so we'll see. Ground loot, adjusted to accommodate new weapons and new builds, and then they also added an extra attachment to the build. So the white common one will now have 3 attachments up from 2, and then the uncommon will have 5 instead of 4. So it'll make those weapons that are kind of trash in the beginning a little bit less trash, right? So it's kind of one of those things. The Gulag loadouts have been refreshed. Hopefully they continue to revolve that. But the theory behind these loadouts is sometimes why they are crappy loadouts. You would imagine like, damn, why the heck would anyone want to use the Bren in the Gulag, right? Well, it's because when you win the Gulag, you come back with the Bren, and that will actually be viable in a long range engagement instead of coming back with the revolver, which it also had, and then you come back and you're like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this? So I don't know. Bugs fixed an issue that was preventing 120 hertz. So that is back to consoles. G today, which is kind of a pain in the butt to unlock. Get 3 slide kills in a single match. Probably going to have to do some hardcore SMG challenges with that. So let's see here. Weapon adjustments. AK-47 neck damage multiplier decrease. So they got another nerf, reduced the recoil control, and they made it a little harder to use. It was still kind of good. AS-44 initial recoil slightly decreased. So they made it even more viable. Bullet velocity increase, and then now has a functioning on-hand perk. So Assault Rifle Charlie, I believe, is the bar. The headshot damage multiplier increased to 1.85, so that should actually finally kill fast enough. I know people have been gassing it up for a long time, even though it's kind of terrible, or at least barely viable. Now it should be kind of crazy. This is going to be probably huge for the headshot. They increased the mag capacity to 30 for that, and then 40 for the other one, and 40 for the other one. Bullet velocity is now also scaled. And then we got the 40 round mag increased to 60. What? Fire rate multiplier decreased to 15, down from Cooper carbine. Bullet velocity increased. Cold War C58 nerfed again for the neck damage. For AMAX, max damage decreased. That sucks. That's the close damage. And then far damage. That's not good. Why would they nerf the AMAX? What's going on here? I don't agree with this one. I think the AMAX was in a good spot. Farah, min damage decrease, so they nerfed that one. So that one's no longer going to be top meta. We got Nikita, adjusted recoil pattern for ease of use. And this one should be the thing that really helps it out. Even though it's not really like a special gun, that should help it out a ton. We'll see how that works though. Okay, Assault Rifle Bravo is the Each Burst, the headshot multiplier increase. So I wonder if that'll make it actually good. I haven't really seen anyone ever use this other than obviously they got a blueprint. Movement speed increase, whatever. NZ, adjusted recoil pattern, and intensity when used in a fully automatic. So that sounds like a good thing to help it actually be good because it kills fast. It's just a matter of it really being hard to use beyond 30 or 40 meters depending on the player's skill. Then a bunch of changes to help improve it. Vargo, minimum damage increase. Ooh, Vargo got a buff. It didn't need one, but I'll take it. Volk, headshot damage multiplier increase, so slight buff. Neck damage multiplier increase. ADS movement speed decrease because it was a little too strong. And then ADS movement speed decreased by another 5% there. So Overall, Strafe's build is still going to be kind of good, but not like crazy. XM4 max damage decreased, so it got finally another nerf and increased range, and next shot decreased as well. So Vargo might be replacing the XM4, depending on how that damage value lays out, because the Vargo is really good too. Marksman rifles, SVT, damage increased, min increased, and then bullet velocity increased, which is good. These still won't get a lot of use just because they're marksman rifles, so you have sniper ammo. But if they're broken, maybe they will. Max damage increased to 55 versus 53, and that might change the shots to kill. And then we have for up close, and then increase the range to 58 meters from 48. That's a long, like, close range. Bullet velocity increase, M1 Garand, and then we got headshot, and as well as bullet velocity snipers. HDR bullet drop off increased. So that, I guess that'll be bullet drop. And then Pellington damage range decreased to 43 meters from 48, 5 meter reduction. Upper torso damage multiplier decreased to 1.5, down from 1.7, slight nerf. And then bullet velocity increased to 38, down from 43. So they nerfed the ZRG, made it a little harder to use, but overall it's still gonna be the one-shot kill and stuff like that, right? So Sniper Rifle Charlie is the AX50. They're nerfing the bullet velocity slightly. It just seems like they're making snipers a little bit harder to use, which I know snipers aren't gonna be happy, but I'm cool with that. And then we got the Dragunov, the damage range increase, which nobody's using the Dragunov. Ride Tech now has a one shot to the head within a damage range, whereas before it was 2, so that could be interesting. The Sniper Rifle Charlie is the M82, which doesn't really get used, but now has a one shot to the head within a damage range, so they kind of balance that out. And then we got the Type 99. It got a little bit damage range decrease or increase to negative. Okay, so if you use that particular mag, we got the Gorenko bullet drop off for the Vanguard. It just got decreased overall. We got the Kar 98K Vanguard added frenzy weapon perk. Max damage range increased on the Kar 98, 2 meters. And then we got a couple different optic changes. Shotguns damage decreased by 20% for the following shotguns. Damn, shotgun people got nerfed too. Whew. Combat shotgun, movement speed, Frambo, all that stuff. Submachine guns, Milano, max damage range decreased, so it got a little bit nerfed. Mid damage added, so now it has another drop off. That's gonna make it feel worse, but it is what it is. Lapa, max damage decrease, so Lapa got nerfed. OTS, max damage decrease. What? Why are you nerfing all these guns? Slight reduction to initial recoil. Armaguerra got buffed. Vertical recoil multiplier decreased to 40%. What the heck are they doing here? They want us to use the Armaguerra. It's probably dropping with the blueprint. Owen gun, damage decreased by what the heck? Upper, lower. So it overall got a nerf. Holy, that's interesting. They don't want us using the Owen gun though. So submachine gun alpha on Modern Warfare. It's the Modern Warfare AUG. We got max increase, min decreased. These got all nerfed. They got nerfed. What the heck? Nerfed all the way across. Wellgun added frangible weapon perk. Why? 120 going short. Fire rate decreased to 0.6 instead of down from 10%. That's interesting. Remove damage penalty. Okay, they want us to use the going short. The UGR magazine capacity increased to 40. Okay, at least that's a comparable change. Hopefully it gets to 45, but slight buff to the new UGR. Pistol melee attacks now require 3 successful hits and initiate a finisher on a target. This is up from 3. I think they meant 4. This is supposed to say 4 because that's what it said earlier, and up from 3. So there it is. 1911, the 18 rounds. Oh no, this is crazy. This could be interesting. We'll have to find out what happens with this 1911. 1911 was crazy before. It just didn't have the ammo. The Clouser, it looks like it got buffed. So pistols are getting buffed. Rat buffed. So Handgun Charlie is the Diamati. And that one says max damage decrease. So it got another nerf for both distances. Machine pistol. It got all kinds of buffs. And then we have the launcher. ADS transition out of time decreased to 0.48. I guess that's a slight buff. Movement speed scale increased to 0.8. I'm not exactly sure. Attachment Kimbos for pistols now reduces damage by 10%. MX silencer, bullet velocity increased to 15%, a buff. And then F8 stabilizer damage increased to 15 from 10. And then there's the operator. Rose skin got nerfed again. They made it 70% brighter. So it should be easier to see. And then these are the downloads, about 5 gigs. Nothing crazy. These got to be the longest patch that we've ever had. You made it here. Appreciate you. Hit the like button. Thank you for watching as always. Have a great day.